Hello and welcome to the Kent Business School Virtual Open Day. We're here to showcase everything you need to know about studying here at the University of Kent. But to start off, I'd like to hand over now to Steve Robinson, a Senior Lecturer in Business and the Head of Undergraduate Recruitment and Admissions, for a short presentation. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Steve, over to you.
Thank you, Louisa, for that introduction. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I've got a few slides to show you and they should be coming up shortly. As Louisa says, and as the first slide says, my name is Steve Robinson and I'm wearing two hats in front of you today. My first hat is as the Head of Undergraduate Recruitment, so I can answer questions that you may have later related to any of our programs, the UCAS process. I'm also a Senior Lecturer in Business, so I teach across most of the undergraduate programs, although my main focus is on international business. The idea today is to spend about 10 to 15 minutes with me, just to give you a flavour of Kent Business School, a little bit of background about the university itself, Kent Business School in particular, and also about the programmes we have to offer. I'm not going to go into huge depth on every programme because we'll be here till Christmas next year. But the idea is to give you a taste, an overview, and then you can go and look up the course structures in detail on the webpage, or you can ask myself, my colleagues, and some of the students that will be having with us shortly any detailed questions that you might have to ask. You can also email me. My email is on the webpage if you've got any specific questions. Okay, a few general bits of background really, a little bit about University of Kent. If you don't know, University of Kent is based mainly outside Canterbury in Kent, and our second campus is up at Medway. The University of Kent has around 20,000 students. It's a fairly large university, not as big as some of the big metropolitan universities, but at 20,000 students, it's pretty big. The business school is the biggest school within the university. We have just over 10% of all students are in the business school, so just over 2,000 students, of which around 1,800 are undergraduates, and we recruit around 600 undergraduates every year to both our campuses, so around 400 for the Canterbury campus and around 200 to the Medway campus. And we have a further 300 or so postgraduate students doing masters in management, MBAs, research masters, PhDs, etc. So it's a big old school within a fairly large university. As I said, University of Kent has two campuses. On the next slide, you can see an aerial picture of the Canterbury campus. The Canterbury campus is just outside the city of Canterbury. It's a short walk in. It's about 10-15 minute walk down the hill, slightly longer coming back up the hill. Kent Business School has the lovely Simpson building as our base on the Canterbury campus. There's a short video you can see later about the Simpson building, fantastic building. We're very lucky to have this beautiful Parkland campus, one of the best campuses in the UK. Well, I would say that, wouldn't I? So some of Kent Business School's programs are on our Canterbury campus, but we also, as you'll see on the next slide, have a Medway campus. The Medway campus is in the historic dockyard at Chatham. This is more of an urban campus, which has up-to-date facilities, some of which are in brand new buildings and some of which are in converted, beautiful Georgian buildings that date back clearly to the Georgian period, Victorian period, etc. Kent Business School also offers some of our programs on this Medway campus. It's about a 2-to-1 split, so about 2/3 of our students are at the Canterbury campus and about 1/3 roughly of our undergraduates are on our Medway campus. As potential students at Kent Business School, the big question you must always ask yourself as a potential undergraduate to business is whether you would like to do a general business degree. These are very popular. General business degrees such as management, we do a degree in management at Canterbury, or business and management, which we do at Medway. So the first question is, do you want to do a general business degree whereby you can look at all aspects of business in your degree? So over the 3-year degree, you'll look at elements of finance, HRM, strategy, marketing, entrepreneurship, project management, etc. Or as a student, as an undergraduate student, would you rather specialize straight off the bat? Would you rather do a more specialized business degree in something like accounting and finance? or finance and investment possibly, or marketing. Kent Business School offers a mixture of both specialised degrees and more general degrees. So you have this sort of pick a mix of maybe the particular degree that will suit you. On the next slide, you'll see what we have to offer at our Canterbury campus. Our Canterbury campus has 4 main undergraduate programs. That's accounting and finance, marketing, international business, and management. Management is the more general degree, very popular. We have over about 100, 110 students every year do management degrees, where you look at all aspects of business. As I mentioned earlier, finance, marketing, HRM, strategy, operations, etc. And so students can specialise in their final year on the management degree, but the management degree is for students who want an all-round knowledge of business. The other 3 degrees at Canterbury are somewhat more specialised degree, particularly the first one on the list there, accounting and finance. Accounting and finance is a very popular degree here at Canterbury. We have about 150 students take it every year. It's recognised by all the main accountancy bodies, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a second. It's particularly for students that perhaps want to go on to work in financial services or become a professional accountant, either chartered, management or public sector accountant. Our marketing degree is obviously a more specialised marketing degree. That is for students that perhaps want to go on and work in marketing communications, digital marketing, marketing research, international marketing, etc. It's a fairly popular degree as well. We have usually each year between 80 to 100 students on the marketing degree. Similar numbers are also on our international business degree. This is clearly a business degree, that has a far more international flavour in the 2nd and 3rd years. I particularly teach on the 1st year of the marketing, international business and management degrees. I also particularly specialise in the final year on international business. The international business degree is for students that want to do, yes, a business degree, but in the 2nd and 3rd year have a much more focused approach to elements of international business, looking at things like emerging markets, looking at things like cross-cultural management, international business, theory and practice. I teach on European business and we look at different European business models. So our Canterbury campus has 4 main undergraduate programs. All of our degrees have a mixture of what are called core subjects and options. Core subjects, as you might guess, are subjects that are compulsory. And if you look at the particular course structure, you'll see the core subjects tend to be in the first 2 years of the programme, allowing more time for options traditionally in the final year. So all our degrees have a mixture of core and option subjects, generally front-loaded into the first 2 years, with options more in the final year. All of the degrees are assessed by a mixture of coursework and exams. Yes, and so there's not a typical module, but each year you would normally do do 4 modules a term, and that's 8 modules a year typically, and 8 modules a year, and those modules are typically assessed by the coursework and exams. Coursework is normally around 40 to 30%, depending on the module. 30% normally for accounting modules, 40% for usually business-related modules. And then the exams is the other half of the assessment. The exams are typically either 70 or 60%. So there's that mixture. It does vary, which is why I was giving you rough figures. It does vary from module to module. We do have some optional modules that are 100% coursework. These tend to be project-based modules. On the next slide, we can see, hopefully you can see, it's not coming up, there we go. On this slide, you'll see that all of our degrees not only are awarded by the University of Kent, so if you come and join us in 2021, and then you graduate, oh my goodness, in 2024 or 2025, not only are these degrees awarded by the University of Kent, but we have external accreditations as well attached to them. What does this mean? It means for no extra work. If you're a student, this does not involve any extra work because we've already received these accreditations. So there's no extra work. And maybe if you're a parent, this involves no extra fees. But as well as being awarded your degree when you graduate, whether that's from Canterbury Cathedral, if you're a Canterbury-based student, one of the best places to graduate in the UK, or if you're a Medway-based student from Rochester Cathedral, also a superb venue for graduation, not only do you get your degree from the University of Kent Business School, but you get these accreditations as well. I briefly mentioned before the Accounting and Finance accreditations. That's ACCA, that's Certified Accountants, CIMA, which is Management Accountants, and then there's the Institute of Chartered Accountants, as well as CIPFA, which is the Public Sector Accountancy body. Our marketing degree is accredited by the prestigious Chartered Institute of Marketing, that's the CIM for short, you see there at the bottom of the slide, whereas both our international business and management degrees are accredited by the CMI, same letters but in a different order. This is the Chartered Management Institute. And international business has a dual accreditation because it's also, as you'll see there from the little logo, accredited by the Institute of Export and International Trade. As I said, this is part of your degree program. It does not involve any extra work. It does not involve any extra fees as such. On the next slide, you can see the programs we offer on our Medway campus. Our Medway campus up in the Chatham Historic Dockyard now offers 3 undergraduate programs. We have Business and Management, which is our general popular degree. We have about 120 students do that every year. We have the more specialised Finance and Investment degree for students that perhaps see their future working in financial services, investment banking, merchant banking, maybe insurance, wealth management, those sort of areas. Finance and Investment, we recruit about 40 to 50 students every year, and brand new for 2021 entry, this brand new, hot off the press, if you like, program on entrepreneurship and innovation. This is a brand new program, particularly going to be attractive for students that see themselves in the future, possibly starting their own business or working for another SME. It's all about areas of entrepreneurship and innovation. It also looks at key business skills as well, such as finance and marketing, and there's issues to do with management as well. All the course details, as I said, for all of these programs can be found on our website. On the next slide, you'll see that already 2 of our programs at Medway already have this external accreditation and affiliation. Our Business and Management degree has the CMI accreditation, just like International Business and Management at Canterbury. And the Finance and Investment degree is affiliated, I should say, to the prestigious American CFA Institute. Once we've launched the Entrepreneurship and Innovation degree, we'd expect to get similar accreditations to that degree as well. On the next slide, you can see that there are a number of different degree variations. All of our degrees are 3 years in length, first year, stage 1, second year, stage 2, third year, stage 3. But all of our degrees offer an optional 4-year sandwich. That would mean you would do 2 years at Kent Business School and then either do a work placement year, which my colleague Nicola will tell you more about in a later presentation. So you work for a year and then you come back for stage 3, your final year. That's one option. That's very popular. We have over 150 students every year go out on work placements, and they come back more experienced, often more focused students. So that's one possibility. You do 2 years at Kent and do a work placement year, then come back. Alternatively, you can do a year abroad year. Year abroad is when you go and study at one of our partner universities. So we have a number of partners, over a dozen partners, where you would spend 2 years at University of Kent and then do a year abroad at one of those partner universities. That might be in Paris, Madrid, Beijing, Hong Kong, Sydney, etc. There's lots of options there, so do your research. Work placement is a very popular option to take. You can apply for this through UCAS. In recent years, a number of my students have done the work placement option and been offered jobs at their work placement. So in recent years, graduates who have been my tutees have gone on to work at Microsoft, Oracle, Louis Vuitton, Bank of America, EA Sports, it's in the game. These sort of places, often because of the work placement they spent there. This year, well, the last few years, we've also been offering what is called the Selfie, which is a self-employed placement year, whereby you can actually, with consultation, work for yourself and start your own business up as part of your work placement. On the next slide, it will again briefly mention the fact that you can do this year abroad option. And we get a number of students every year going to one of our partner universities. So 2 years at Kent, a year at our partner university, many of whom, well over half of them now, who teach in English. You don't necessarily have to know the language. A little bit will obviously help, but it's not necessary for you to necessarily know the language of that particular place you're going to study at. I think about 2/3 now teaching English. The full list can be seen on the link here. What else do we offer here at Kent Business School, as well as our 3- and 4-year programs? We also offer joint honour programs. The next slide gives you a little list of what our joint honour programs are. What are joint honours? It means a sort of 50-50 degree, if you're not familiar with this. Single honours would be one subject degree. So you do international business or you do management. A joint honours is the cake is cut in half, if you like, whereby you can do management and economics, you see, or management and law. That's very popular. Or you can do accounting and finance and economics, or accounting and finance and mathematics. These are not harder degrees. They are not easier degrees. It's the same cake, but the cake is cut in half. So you have 1 foot in one department and 1 foot in another department. Roughly about 20% of our students, do a joint honours degree. As I said, they're not easier, they're not harder, and the actual offers we make are at the same level, whether you want to do a joint honours or whether you want to do single honours. Our standard offer for 2021 entry is 3 Bs at A level, 120 UCAS points. That's generally what we're looking at. If you're taking BTEC, extended diploma, we typically look for distinction merit. If students accept one of our offers, which we'd hope you would do, when the results come out next summer, then if you are close to achieving what we've offered you, then typically your details would come to me, and I'm likely to accept students who have obviously got the grades we are looking for, or alternatively are very close to those grades. I'll go back and look at your personal statement, your references, your achievements. So typically students who've got their grades obviously get a place, but students who are near misses, maybe have fallen down on one subject area, we will still typically allow them to join us, because we want those who've put Kent first to come to Kent. Moving on the next slide. On the next slide, you can see one of our unique selling points. We have a big focus on trying to develop employable graduates. Over the 3 or 4 years here, we have this scheme called Kent Business School Backpack to Briefcase. This starts from your first year and goes right on to when you leave us. There's a number of initiatives, including the Business Startup Journey and the Aspire project that my colleague Rebecca will be talking about with you shortly, whereby you can attend workshops, you can attend extracurricular activities, all about developing your employability skills, CV crafting, workshops, guest speakers, speed interviewing, not speed dating, I think that's what the student union do, but speed interviewing, a variety of different opportunities to develop those work-based skills. And we do that from your first year right up through stage 1, right up to when you leave us. It's particularly pertinent, obviously, for those of you that want to do a work placement, but all students can benefit from this. On the next slide, as part of this, I briefly mentioned it, you'll see there's this particular extracurricular activity called the Business Startup Journey. I don't want to take the fire from my colleague Rebecca. She will tell you more about this. This is a very popular initiative offered by the Aspire project. On the next slide, we are looking at how can you choose. This is very, very important. You've got 5 choices in UCAS. Count them, 5 choices. How do you choose? my biggest piece of advice, in normal years, would go out and visit as many universities as you can. Please go and visit, because what you see on a web page, what you see in a virtual presentation is not the same as what you might find when you go there. To try and do your visits this year, clearly that is going to be very, very difficult. But try these virtual visits. Go and watch some videos like today, get a flavour of the place. But in terms of choosing your 5, you've got to look at what you think your student experience is going to be like. You've got to weigh things up. What is the student experience? It's a somewhat nebulous term, but I would argue it includes the program, it includes the learning and teaching environment and facilities. It also includes the student support and the general extracurricular activities. So weigh these sort of balls up in terms of what's important to you. Here at Kent Business School, clearly we feel that our programs are up to date, relevant and flexible. We feel we offer superb facilities on both campuses. The lecture and teaching environment is excellent. All the lectures are recorded at the moment in the blended system, but we're still having live team sessions for seminars and still socially distanced face-to-face workshops as well. Our facilities within the Simpson building and within the Chatham Historic Dockyard are fantastic for Kent Business School. The student support is very, very good. I have about 18 tutees. My academic advisees, who I see on a regular basis, can come and ask me questions about any problem they may have. We have student support teams in place as well, and the whole campus environment is a fantastic place to study. On the next slide, you'll see we are like a little cohesive village in many ways, both at Canterbury and at Medway, where there's lots of student support facilities to do with studying, facilities to do with counselling, facilities to do with language support. There's a whole host of things here. And we sort of pride ourselves and win a number of awards on this student support that we have in place, this safety net we have in place. You won't be alone if you come to Kent, and in particular Kent Business School. We're always here to help and support you through your studies, particularly this year in the challenging COVID environment, distance and blended learning. We've had to put in place even more support for our students. On the next couple of slides, let's look at the next slide. Why study with us? Well, there's a number of reasons. There's not one reason. I think Kent Business School ticks all of the boxes in terms of our academic excellence. That's obviously fantastic. We have a national and international reputation. We are currently double accredited by AMBER and the ASCSB, these very prestigious accreditation boards. We are looking for our triple accreditation shortly after Christmas in February, where Equus join us, and we hope to be very shortly triple accredited. On the next slide, we can see more reasons to join us, as well as those accreditations. There's our corporate connections, particularly enhanced by our work placement team every year, our employability team, which Nicola will tell you more about. We've got many corporate connections that come in and do guest speaking, interviewing techniques, CV crafting. There's a big focus on employability. Employability is embedded in the curriculum, as well as the Briefcase scheme. We also have employability and employability skills as part of the curriculum. Sustainability and innovation is embedded across all our programs. It's a key feature in all our programs. In individual modules, it's either explicit or implicit within a number of other modules. Our locations are fantastic. We've got superb campuses, as you'll see in videos later, both at Canterbury and Medway. And we have a very diverse student community. About a quarter, and just over a quarter of our students are non-EU international students. If we now add in EU students that are not UK British because of Brexit, then getting up beyond 30% of our students are non-UK British students, whatever you want to describe those as, okay? So it's a very diverse and cosmopolitan learning environment, and that's fantastic. On the international business degree, about half our students are non-UK British. So you might come from Colchester, but be sitting next to somebody from Kolkata, or somebody from Dubai, or possibly somebody from Kuala Lumpur. A very diverse student community. Last couple of slides now, just to finish off. We've got the next slide. Looks at what our graduates go on to. There is not a typical graduate. Our graduates go into all sorts of careers, large-scale enterprises, SMEs, private sector, public sector, all sorts of industries. They go into accounting and finance, financial services, banking, they go into marketing, they go into all sorts of areas. We do not have a typical graduate. As I mentioned earlier on, in recent years, my academic advisees have gone to work for Microsoft, west of London in Reading. They've gone to work for IBM down in Portsmouth. They've gone to work for Bank of America in London, Louis Vuitton in Hammersmith, EA Sports in Old Street Roundabout in London, all sorts of things. There is not a typical student. What employers look for is excellence and skills, and that's what we will give you here at Kent Business School. I think we're on the last couple of slides now, I think. In terms of how you can check, you can go to different league tables. The league tables are a bit of a blunt instrument. They give you a flavour of how business schools are doing, and they give you a flavour of how universities are doing. So do treat them with a bit of scepticism. You know, do your own research and do go to the virtual tools and their online information. We do very well in our graduate prospects across most of our key programs. You see there, we're usually top 10 or top 20% of graduate prospects. And that's because our programs prepare you very well for the world of work. But equally, we're based in the southeast. Canterbury is less than an hour on the fast train up into London. We have fantastic links also to the continent via Eurotunnel and via the ferry service. So we're very, very lucky because of our location that we have superb links as the UK's European university back into London, but also to the continent. I think we're getting the last couple of slides now. Next slide, please. In terms of contact, you can always email me, sarobinson@kent.ac.uk. Your best bet is to send me an email about any of the programs, but most of the information is contained on the webpage where you can get the answers to most questions. But for now, I think that's more than enough from me. So I'll bid you farewell just for now, and I'll see you a little later.